that's the best lat spread in the history of bodybuilding. And then he sends me Jose Ryman's text. He said, this is the best front lat spread in the history of bodybuilding.
So just as Milos Sarcev made a very sweeping statement on the recent episode of the Menace podcast, that Andrew Jacked has the best front lat spread probably of all time. So just hours later, the former Olympia champion Big Ramy, he posted this front lat spread on his timeline reminding everyone how great this man was when he was in his prime. So as a huge fan of Andrew Jacked, I 100% agree with Milos Sarcev that this guy probably has the best front lat spread across the entire bodybuilding history. But to say that nobody even comes close, that is the part where many of the fans out there, they had a disagreement.
From top to
The
bottom,
best front lat spread in the history of bodybuilding.
absolutely. Nobody comes close. Nobody comes close.
Nobody comes close.
Because we had some legends in the past. For instance, how can you ignore the 6 times Olympia champion Dorian Yates and his front lat spread? That was absolutely jaw-dropping. So that was a pose in which Dorian was absolutely untouchable, even in the most competitive bodybuilding era, and that of course is the 90s era. So Chris Cormier, he also had one crazy front lat spread, and the lines on his quads, they were deeper than Andrew Jagged. Now in the recent times, Samson Dauda has an awesome front lat spread, a very impressive overall X-frame. Now I do not know how many of you guys are gonna agree with this name that I'm about to mention, but Muhammad Fada, he also has an awesome front lat spread. And how can we forget the German legend Dennis Wolf, especially him back in 2014. That was the best front lat spread in that entire Olympia lineup, and we have to keep in mind we had Kai Green and Phil Heath in there. So after what we saw from Andrew in 2025, we kind of do agree with Milos Sarcev that he has the best front lat spread, especially in this era, because this guy has those insane tie-ins, especially in the upper half. He has that tiniest possible waistline, especially for a guy who has that kind of size. Not to mention the quads on him, they are all feathered up and pretty damn massive. Now, just think for a second that Andrew shows up at the Arnold Ohio next year and at the Olympia next year with an even bigger quad sweep, with an even bigger package, but he brings the same condition that we saw from him at this past Romania Pro. It's gonna be lights out.